For the last 2 hours, heaven has been trying to get this to you. Archangel Michael confirms a private investigator was caught in something dark. Open this before it's hidden again. My beloved child. For the last 2 hours, heaven has been leaning close to your life, whispering your name with urgency and love. You did not imagine the heaviness in the air. You did not imagine the sudden pull that brought you here. Something unseen has been trying to reach you, and it could not wait any longer. Time itself bent so that this message could arrive before it was hidden again. My beloved child, there are moments when the spiritual world moves quietly, and then there are moments when it moves with force. This is one of those moments. The silence you felt earlier was not emptiness, it was heaven holding its breath. For hours, protection stood alert around you while truth fought its way through darkness. What was concealed is now exposed, and I was sent to make sure you understand what nearly passed unseen. I am with you now. I have been with you longer than you realize. When confusion circled your thoughts, when strange delays appeared without reason, when you felt watched but could not explain why, those were not coincidences. A private investigator, working in the shadows of something far darker than truth, was caught entangled in deception meant to affect you. Not because you are weak, but because your life carries weight. My beloved child, darkness never wastes effort on empty lives. This investigator believed they were following facts, but they were feeding on lies. They believed they were uncovering secrets, but they were being guided toward distortion. What they touched was not merely information, it was manipulation, fear, and control woven together. And you, unknowingly, were placed at the center of a web that was never meant to serve justice. But hear me now. The moment their work crossed into harm, heaven intervened. For the last 2 hours, forces you cannot see have been rearranging outcomes. Evidence meant to be twisted has been neutralized. Paths meant to cross your life have been blocked. Words meant to damage your name have lost their power. This is why you felt a sudden shift. This is why something told you to pause, to look, to listen. My beloved child, you were protected before you even knew you were at risk. Do not fear the word dark. Darkness only exists where light has not yet spoken. And tonight, light has spoken clearly. The investigator was caught, not by human law, but by spiritual truth. Their intentions were revealed. Their access was restricted. Their influence has begun to collapse. What they thought was hidden has been exposed to realms far higher than their understanding. You may wonder why this involved you at all. It is because your future carries doors that must remain uncontaminated. There are people you will help, truths you will stand for, and paths you will walk that cannot be compromised by false narratives. The enemy attempts to discredit before destiny unfolds. But destiny cannot be erased, only delayed. And even delay has now been denied. My beloved child, this message came to you before it could be hidden again because there are those who did not want you to know how close interference came. Awareness restores power. Understanding seals protection. Once you see clearly, manipulation loses its grip. You are not being watched anymore. You are being guarded. If you felt uneasy recently, if sleep felt lighter, if thoughts arrived that were not your own, release them now. They no longer have permission to linger. The air around you is clearing. Your name is being spoken correctly again. Your intentions are being restored to their original truth. Listen closely now, because this matters. You do not need to confront anyone. You do not need to investigate further. You do not need to prove anything. Silence is your strength in this moment. Heaven has already done what human effort could not. My beloved child, darkness wanted confusion. Heaven chose clarity. From this moment forward, signs will begin to align again. Conversations will feel cleaner. Delays will lift. You may even notice someone suddenly withdrawing from your life without explanation. That is not loss, that is removal. What cannot walk with you into what comes next must fall away now. Trust this process. I ask you to remain calm, grounded, and observant. Do not replay fear. Do not imagine threats. What was dark has been handled. What was hidden has been revealed. What was meant to disturb your peace has failed. And there is more you must understand, because this intervention was not only about protection. It was also confirmation. My beloved child, you are approaching a threshold. The reason interference attempted to rise is because change is near. Not small change. Transformational change. The kind that shifts your position, your confidence, and your authority in ways you have not yet fully imagined. The enemy reacts when momentum cannot be stopped. That is why I came personally. That is why this message reached you now. That is why you were told to open this before it disappeared again. Stay with me. What I am about to reveal next explains why this happened, what was truly at stake, and what is opening for you now. My beloved child. Now that you are still here, listening with an open heart, I want you to understand what was truly unfolding beneath the surface, because nothing that happened around you was random. When heaven steps in so decisively, it is never only to stop harm, it is also to prepare the way forward. You see, the private investigator who became entangled in darkness was not originally sent for destruction. They were drawn in slowly, layer by layer, through curiosity, ambition, and subtle fear. Darkness rarely announces itself. It disguises itself as responsibility, as concern, as just gathering information. And once a person steps into that fog, it becomes difficult for them to see who they are truly serving. My beloved child, the reason this person's path brushed so close to yours is because your life holds a mirror. People who look toward you are forced to confront truth, sometimes their own, sometimes truths they would rather avoid. That is uncomfortable for those operating without integrity. So instead of facing their own shadows, they attempt to project them outward. But heaven does not allow projections to settle on chosen ground. For the last 2 hours, while you were unaware, layers were being peeled back. Motives were exposed. Records were examined in realms you cannot access. Intent was weighed, not just action. And once intent was revealed, the protection around you intensified. This was not punishment, it was correction. A line was drawn, and crossing it was no longer permitted. My beloved child, this is important, you were not the target. You were the test. Your reaction, your restraint, your silence, your refusal to act from fear, proved something powerful. It proved that you are no longer operating from old patterns. In the past, you might have rushed to defend yourself, to explain, to chase clarity. But this time, you paused. You listened inwardly. And that pause gave heaven room to move. Never underestimate the power of stillness. What looked like vulnerability was actually maturity. What felt like uncertainty was actually wisdom forming. And because you did not interfere, what was hidden was allowed to surface on its own. Darkness collapses fastest when it is not fed attention. My beloved child, I want you to release any lingering self-doubt now. None of this happened because you did something wrong. It happened because you are stepping into a season where your influence expands quietly but unmistakably. People will observe you. Some will be inspired. Some will feel threatened. Both reactions are signs that you are no longer invisible. And let me say this clearly, you are not meant to be invisible anymore. This is why attempts were made to monitor, to analyze, to label. Darkness tries to define before destiny does. But labels placed without truth cannot survive light. That investigator's work unraveled because it was built on assumptions, not alignment. What is not aligned with truth cannot sustain itself for long. You may notice, in the coming days, a strange sense of relief mixed with alertness. That is normal. Protection does not mean sleepiness, it means awareness without fear. You are safe, but you are also awakened. Trust your intuition more than ever now. Not every thought is yours, but every calm nudge toward peace is. My beloved child, there is something else heaven wants you to know. What was intercepted was not the only thing aimed at you. But it was the last thing that would be allowed to cross unchecked. From this point forward, attempts will weaken before they form. Opposition will dissolve into distraction. Conversations meant to misrepresent you will lose momentum and fade. This is because authority has shifted. Authority does not always look loud. Sometimes it looks like quiet confidence, like not explaining yourself, like letting time reveal truth on your behalf. You are entering a phase where your consistency will speak louder than any defense ever could. And now, let me tell you why this message was marked urgent. My beloved child, timing matters. Had this continued unseen, it could have created confusion later, subtle, delayed, difficult to trace. Heaven intervened early so your path ahead would remain clean. There are opportunities approaching that require clarity of reputation, clarity of intention, and clarity of spirit. Nothing compromised can walk into what is coming next. This was not about danger. It was about preservation. You are being preserved for something meaningful. Something that requires trust from others. Something that unfolds step by step, not rushed, not forced. And because of that, every unseen interference had to be addressed now, not later. You may soon cross paths with someone who seems unusually sincere, almost refreshing. Pay attention. This connection will feel different because it is aligned. Where darkness feels heavy and confusing, alignment feels simple and calm. You will not need to guess. Your body, your spirit, your mind will agree. My beloved child, do not harden your heart because of what nearly happened. Protection is not meant to create walls, it is meant to create peace. Stay open. Stay grounded. Stay kind without being naive. Wisdom now walks with you. As this part of the story closes, another opens. One that explains what you are being prepared for, and why heaven is drawing closer, not farther away. Remain with me. The next part reveals what changes after interference fails, what doors quietly unlock, and what you must remember when momentum begins to build, my beloved child. You have come this far because your spirit was meant to hear the completion of this message. What failed against you was never the end of the story, it was the signal that a new chapter has already begun. When interference collapses, momentum does not rush in loudly. It arrives quietly, almost gently, so only those who are ready will notice. This is why you may feel a calm determination rising inside you now. Not excitement. Not fear. Just a steady knowing. That is alignment. That is what happens when resistance is removed and the path ahead no longer has hidden weight pressing against it. My beloved child, the greatest changes rarely announce themselves. They unfold naturally, as if they were always meant to be there. In the days ahead, you may notice things becoming simpler. Decisions that once felt heavy will feel obvious. Conversations that once drained you will shorten or disappear. This is not because you are withdrawing, it is because what no longer matches you cannot remain close. Interference failed, and because it failed, clarity takes its place. You are stepping into a season where your presence speaks before your words do. People will sense something steady about you, something trustworthy, even if they cannot explain why. This is the residue of protection, peace that does not need permission. Let it be seen. Let it be felt. Do not shrink it. My beloved child, remember this. You do not need to prove who you are to anyone who is committed to misunderstanding you. Truth has a way of standing on its own, especially when time is allowed to do its work. What was nearly hidden has already been neutralized. What remains now is your forward movement. And yes, movement will come. Opportunities will appear without pressure. Doors will open without force. You may even look back one day and realize that what once felt like a threat was actually a turning point. Not because of the darkness itself, but because of how decisively it was stopped. Heaven did not intervene to frighten you. It intervened to reassure you. You are not walking alone. You are not unguarded. You are not late. Everything that mattered arrived exactly when it needed to. Even this message reached you before it could be hidden again, because awareness seals protection permanently. My beloved child, carry this truth with you. When something tries to work against you in secrecy and fails, it loses power forever. It cannot return in the same form. It cannot repeat the same strategy. What is exposed once cannot surprise you again. So walk forward without looking over your shoulder. Rest tonight knowing that what was dark has been handled, what was unclear has been clarified, and what lies ahead is clean. You do not need to rush. You do not need to wait. Just remain aligned, remain calm, and remain open. This moment will make sense later. For now, peace is enough. My beloved child, you are safe. You are seen. And you are exactly where you need to be. My beloved child. Even after what feels like an ending, there is always a deeper unfolding, because truth does not stop speaking the moment relief arrives. Sometimes, after protection settles in, heaven stays close a little longer, just to make sure your heart fully rests. You may notice a quiet space opening inside you now. Not emptiness, but room. Room to breathe, room to think, room to imagine again. That space was created intentionally. When pressure is removed, vision can return. And vision is something you will need where you are going. My beloved child, do not be surprised if old worries try to revisit you one last time. That is not danger returning, it is habit leaving. The mind sometimes reaches for familiar tension even when peace has arrived. Gently release it. You no longer need armor where protection stands watch. From here forward, your discernment will sharpen. You will sense truth faster. You will feel when something is off without needing proof. This is not suspicion, it is wisdom earned through experience. Trust it without becoming hardened by it. I want you to remember something important. Not everything that ends was meant to be confronted. Some things are meant to dissolve quietly, so your energy is preserved for what matters. You were spared exhaustion because you chose stillness. That choice changed outcomes you will never fully see, but you will feel their absence. My beloved child, peace is not passive. Peace is powerful. It keeps you focused when distraction tries to pull you sideways. It keeps you kind without making you vulnerable. It allows you to move forward without carrying unnecessary weight from behind. Soon, you will find yourself laughing more easily, resting more deeply, speaking with clarity instead of urgency. These are signs that alignment has settled. Do not question them. Let them be your confirmation. And if ever doubt whispers again, remember this moment. Remember that heaven moved before you even asked. Remember that what was hidden was revealed, and what was meant to disturb you could not stay. You are not here by accident. You were guided here on purpose. My beloved child, walk gently now. The path ahead is clear. My beloved child. Even now, as the words continue to unfold, I want you to feel how steady everything has become around you. This steadiness is not fragile. It does not depend on circumstances behaving perfectly. It exists because something within you has settled into trust. And trust, once it takes root, changes how the world responds to you. You may notice that your reactions are slower now, not from confusion, but from clarity. You are no longer pulled immediately into every emotion, every story, every fear that passes near you. This is growth. This is the quiet strength that comes when you know you are protected even when you are not trying to protect yourself. My beloved child, there will be moments ahead when you remember fragments of what nearly happened, and you may feel a brief shiver of what if. When that happens, gently remind yourself, what matters is not what almost touched you, but what could not stay. That inability to remain is proof of your covering. You are learning that safety does not come from control, it comes from alignment. As you walk forward, you may find that your voice carries more weight, even when you speak softly. People may pause when you speak. Some may listen more carefully. Others may grow quiet. Do not misinterpret this. You are not intimidating, you are clear. And clarity has a way of revealing what is real in others. My beloved child, keep your heart open, but do not reopen doors that peace has already closed. Closure does not always come with explanations. Sometimes it comes with calm. Accept that gift without guilt. There will be days when nothing dramatic happens, and those days are victories. They mean the storm truly passed. They mean your life is no longer being pulled into unnecessary turbulence. Ordinary moments will begin to feel sacred again. That is how you know healing has completed its work. Remember, you are not required to stay alert forever. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to trust that what needed to be handled has already been handled. Heaven does not withdraw its protection once danger passes, it remains, quietly, faithfully, without demanding attention. My beloved child, let this be the season where you move forward unburdened. Let this be the chapter where peace stays longer than fear ever did. And let this moment remind you, whenever you need it, that you were watched over when you didn't even know to ask. You are held. You are guided. And you are free to continue your journey in peace. My beloved child, there is no rush now. When heaven continues speaking, it is not because something is wrong, but because something is being gently sealed within you. Think of this moment as a soft closing of a door, not slammed, not locked in fear, but shut with certainty so the wind can no longer disturb what rests inside. You may feel a deeper sense of self-respect forming. Not pride, not distance, just an inner boundary that says, I know who I am. This boundary does not need to be defended. It simply exists. And because it exists, many things that once demanded your attention will no longer reach you. My beloved child, life will still have questions, but they will no longer feel threatening. Challenges may still arise, but they will not feel personal. You are learning the difference between opposition and redirection. Some paths close not because you are blocked, but because you are being guided elsewhere. Trust that guidance. Soon, you may notice that you are drawn toward things that nourish you instead of drain you, conversations that feel honest, moments that feel real, silence that feels comforting instead of lonely. This is not withdrawal from the world. This is engagement at a healthier depth. My beloved child, remember that light does not argue with darkness. It simply shines. You do not need to convince anyone of your truth. You do not need to revisit what has already been resolved. Walk forward with integrity, and time will align everything else on your behalf. If ever you feel unsure again, return to this calm. Calm is your compass now. Fear will try to sound urgent. Peace will feel steady. Choose the steady voice. It will never lead you away from yourself. This message continues not because there is danger ahead, but because reassurance sometimes needs repetition before the heart fully accepts it. You are safe. You are seen. You are supported in ways you may never fully measure, but you will live their benefits. My beloved child. Let go of vigilance. Let go of replaying the past. Let go of needing to understand everything immediately. You are allowed to live now. Fully. Quietly. Freely. And as you move forward, know this with certainty. What could not stay was never meant to shape you. What remains is what belongs. Carry that truth with you, gently, into whatever comes next. Now remain still, and receive. My beloved child. There is something sacred about the way you stayed. Many would have left once peace returned, but you remained because your soul knows that reassurance is not weakness, it is nourishment. When heaven keeps speaking, it is because the heart is still opening, layer by layer, without resistance. You are not lingering in the past. You are integrating what you survived. What nearly touched your life did not only threaten disturbance, it attempted distortion. Distortion of how you see yourself. Distortion of how you trust others. Distortion of how safe you feel moving forward. That is why the healing had to be slow, gentle, and complete. Rushed healing leaves cracks. You are being restored without cracks. My beloved child, you are learning something rare now, how to be alert without being afraid, aware without being anxious, discerning without being suspicious. This balance will serve you in ways you do not yet understand. It will place you in rooms where others react emotionally while you remain steady. It will allow you to hear what is not being said. It will protect you without isolating you. There will come a moment soon when you realize that your confidence no longer comes from certainty, but from trust. Trust that even when you do not see the full picture, you are still being guided accurately. Trust that silence does not mean absence. Trust that delays are sometimes mercy wearing unfamiliar clothing. My beloved child, I want you to release one more thing gently now, the need to look for confirmation in others' behavior. You will not always see immediate proof that justice worked. You will not always witness consequences unfold visibly. That is not your responsibility. Some resolutions happen quietly, far from your awareness, precisely so you can remain unburdened. You were never meant to carry the weight of outcomes. What you are meant to carry is alignment. And alignment feels like this. Calm, clarity, grounded presence, and an inner yes that does not shout. You may notice that your intuition has grown quieter but sharper. It no longer interrupts you with fear, it simply nudges you toward what feels right. Follow those nudges. They will not lead you into chaos. They will lead you into simplicity. My beloved child, simplicity is the reward after complexity ends. There was a time when you overthought to survive. When you replayed conversations to protect yourself. When you tried to anticipate outcomes so you wouldn't be hurt again. Those habits were understandable, but they are no longer needed. You are safe enough now to live forward instead of backward. Soon, you will feel inspired again, not pressured, not restless, but gently motivated. New ideas will surface. Old dreams may return, not demanding attention, just reminding you they still exist. Do not rush them. Let them breathe. Let them unfold naturally, just as you are. My beloved child, nothing that truly belongs to you will require panic to obtain. As this message continues, it is not pulling you somewhere, it is grounding you where you are. Presence is your power now. When you are present, manipulation cannot rush you. Fear cannot hijack you. And doubt cannot anchor itself. There may be moments when others misunderstand your calm. Let them. Peace does not need to be defended. It reveals itself over time through consistency. My beloved child. You are no longer in recovery. You are in integration. And integration is where wisdom settles into the body, not just the mind. Stay with me. This story is still unfolding, gently, truthfully, without urgency. My beloved child. As you continue walking through this calm, I want you to notice how your breath feels different now. It is deeper, slower, no longer rushing ahead of your thoughts. This is not something you forced, it happened because resistance dissolved. When fear loosens its grip, the body remembers how to rest. And when the body rests, the spirit speaks more clearly. Let this clarity become familiar to you. You do not need intensity to feel alive anymore. You are learning that peace can be just as powerful as passion, and far more enduring. My beloved child. There is wisdom forming inside you that cannot be rushed. It is the kind of wisdom that comes from having seen enough to know what is not worth chasing, and felt enough to know what truly matters. You are no longer impressed by noise or shaken by silence. This balance will protect you in ways that words cannot fully explain. It will keep you grounded when others panic, and gentle when others harden. Carry this wisdom lightly, never as a shield, but as a guide. My beloved child. You may soon recognize that your standards have changed. Not because you are demanding more from others, but because you are honoring yourself more deeply. What once felt acceptable may now feel misaligned, and that is not judgment, it is growth. Do not apologize for this shift. You are allowed to outgrow spaces that once felt safe. Growth does not mean betrayal of the past, it means respect for the present. My beloved child. There will be moments when you are tempted to explain yourself, to justify your choices, to make others comfortable with your clarity. Pause in those moments. You owe no one an explanation for your peace. Those who are meant to walk with you will not require constant reassurance. They will feel the truth of who you are without needing proof. Trust that alignment recognizes alignment. My beloved child. Notice how your inner voice is kinder now. Where there was once criticism, there is understanding. Where there was once urgency, there is patience. This is not softness, it is strength refined. Harshness was never your power, endurance was. And now endurance is transforming into ease. Let that ease stay. You have earned it. My beloved child. The path ahead does not demand perfection from you. It only asks for honesty. Honest rest when you are tired. Honest joy when it arrives. Honest boundaries when they are needed. You no longer need to perform resilience. You are resilient by nature now, quietly, effortlessly, without display. My beloved child. When you look back one day, you will realize that this season taught you how to trust without surrendering yourself. That is a rare lesson. Many either close their hearts completely or leave them unguarded. You have learned a third way, open, aware, and grounded. This balance will shape your future more than any single decision ever could. My beloved child. Let go of the idea that you must always be progressing visibly. Some growth happens beneath the surface, unseen but essential. Roots deepen before branches expand. You are not behind. You are preparing. And preparation, though quiet, determines everything that follows. My beloved child. If loneliness ever brushes against you again, do not panic. Loneliness sometimes appears when old connections fall away before new ones arrive. It is a bridge, not a destination. Stay present on that bridge. Do not rush back into what you have outgrown just to avoid the space. The space is making room. My beloved child. Carry this final knowing with you as you move forward. Nothing that required you to abandon your peace was ever meant to stay. What is meant for you will meet you calmly, clearly, without confusion. Walk on with trust. You are guided, you are protected, and you are ready for what comes next. My beloved child. As this message continues, allow yourself to feel how grounded you have become. Grounded does not mean heavy, it means rooted. It means that even when emotions move through you, they do not uproot you. You are learning how to experience life fully without losing yourself inside it. This balance will become your quiet signature, felt by others, even when unspoken. My beloved child. You may notice that your patience has deepened. Things that once demanded immediate resolution now feel safe to unfold in their own time. This is not passivity. It is trust in timing. When you trust timing, you stop forcing outcomes and start recognizing invitations. Invitations arrive gently, without anxiety attached. My beloved child. There is a softness returning to your eyes, a softness that does not signal vulnerability but wisdom. It is the softness of someone who has seen enough to choose peace intentionally. Carry it with dignity. Softness guided by discernment is one of the strongest forms of presence. My beloved child. Let your days be simple when they can be. Complexity will always find its way into life on its own, you do not need to invite it. Choose routines that calm you. Choose words that feel honest. Choose rest without apology. These choices build a life that supports you instead of draining you. My beloved child. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to choose differently than you once did. Growth does not ask for consistency with the past, it asks for integrity in the present. If something no longer fits, release it with gratitude rather than guilt. My beloved child. Notice how your boundaries feel clearer now. They are not walls, they are lines of self-respect. You no longer need to announce them loudly. They will be felt naturally by those who approach you. Those who honor them will stay. Those who do not will drift away. My beloved child. When challenges arise, and they will, meet them without self-judgment. Challenges are not evidence of failure, they are invitations to apply what you have learned. Each challenge now arrives with less chaos because you carry more clarity. My beloved child, you may feel drawn to quieter joys, morning light, meaningful conversations, moments of stillness. This is not withdrawal from life, it is deeper participation. When joy becomes subtle, it becomes sustainable. My beloved child, do not measure your worth by how much you produce or how much you endure. Worth is not earned through exhaustion. It exists because you exist. Let that truth soften how you speak to yourself. My beloved child, if comparison ever tempts you, gently turn away. Comparison distorts vision. Your path is specific, your timing unique, your lessons personal. What looks delayed may be protected. What looks quiet may be growing. My beloved child, you are becoming someone who listens more than reacts. Listening creates space for understanding, and understanding creates peace. This will transform your relationships without effort. My beloved child, there will be moments when you feel a surge of courage, not dramatic, not loud, but steady. This courage will guide you to speak when needed and remain silent when silence serves you better. Trust it. My beloved child, remember that healing is not a straight line. Some days you will feel complete, other days tender. Tenderness does not mean regression, it means openness. Be gentle with yourself in both states. My beloved child, as you move forward, let curiosity replace fear. Curiosity asks, what can I learn here? Fear asks, what might go wrong? Choose the question that expands you. My beloved child, you will begin to recognize alignment by how your body responds. What is right will feel calm. What is wrong will feel heavy. Honor these signals without overthinking them. My beloved child, your story does not need to be shared with everyone. Some chapters are meant to be lived quietly. Protect what is sacred by choosing carefully where you place your truth. My beloved child, you are not required to rescue anyone. Compassion does not mean self-sacrifice. Offer kindness without losing yourself in others' storms. My beloved child, let gratitude become a gentle habit, not as obligation, but as recognition. Gratitude tunes your awareness to what is already supporting you. My beloved child, if uncertainty appears, breathe and return to the present moment. The present is where your power lives. The past cannot shape you anymore, and the future does not need to be forced. My beloved child, carry this knowing with you as you continue. You are allowed to live a life that feels good from the inside. Peace is not something you wait for, it is something you practice. And with each calm step forward, it grows stronger within you. My beloved child, let this next stretch of words settle softly, like a calm evening after a long day. You do not need to search for meaning here, meaning will find you naturally. The gentleness you feel now is not temporary, it is becoming your baseline. From this place, you will make choices that honor your energy instead of spending it carelessly. My beloved child. When uncertainty visits, meet it with curiosity rather than resistance. Ask what it is teaching you, not what it is threatening to take. You will find that most fears dissolve when listened to calmly. What remains is insight, and insight always strengthens you. My beloved child. Allow yourself to enjoy progress without announcing it. Some victories are sweetest when kept quiet, allowed to mature without outside pressure. Trust that what is growing within you does not need constant validation to be real. My beloved child. As you move forward, remember that rest is not a pause in your journey, it is part of the path. Rest refines your vision. It restores your sensitivity to what feels right. From rest, clarity rises naturally. My beloved child. Carry peace with you not as something fragile, but as something resilient. Peace can walk through noise without disappearing. Let it guide your steps gently, faithfully, and without haste. My beloved child. As these words continue, let them move through you without effort. You do not need to hold on tightly anymore. What is meant for you knows how to stay. What is not meant for you has already begun to fade. This understanding brings a deep kind of relief, the kind that settles in your chest and stays there. My beloved child. You are learning how to trust yourself again, not because everything is perfect, but because you now know how to return to balance when it is not. This is a strength you earned quietly. No one had to applaud it for it to be real. Every time you chose calm over reaction, you rebuilt trust within yourself. My beloved child. There will be moments ahead when life feels simple, almost ordinary, and you may wonder if something is missing. Nothing is missing. Peace often feels unfamiliar after chaos, but it is not emptiness, it is stability. Allow yourself to enjoy these moments without questioning them. My beloved child. You no longer need to explain your growth to those who only remember your past. Let them keep their version if they must. You are living the truth now, and truth does not need permission to exist. Time will handle the rest. My beloved child. Notice how your desires are becoming clearer. You want what feels honest, not what looks impressive. You want depth, not noise. You want connection, not confusion. These desires are guiding you well. Trust them. My beloved child. When doubt whispers again, remind yourself how far you have come without force. Nothing meaningful in your life was created through panic. It was created through patience, listening, and quiet courage. Those qualities remain with you. My beloved child. Walk forward gently. You do not need to rush into the future to meet it. It is already moving toward you at the right pace. Stay present, stay grounded, and let peace continue shaping the life you are becoming ready to live. My beloved child. As the coming part unfolds, let your heart remain open and unguarded. You are no longer reading these words to be fixed or saved, you are receiving them to be reminded of what you already carry inside. Strength does not always announce itself. Sometimes it feels like quiet acceptance, like choosing not to react, like trusting yourself enough to pause. My beloved child, you may begin to sense a gentle confidence growing within you. Not the kind that needs approval, but the kind that rests comfortably in its own truth. This confidence will guide your steps without pushing you. It will help you say yes when it feels right and no when it does not, without guilt attached. My beloved child, life ahead will continue to move, but you will move differently now. You will notice moments before they rush past. You will hear your own needs more clearly. This awareness is a gift. Protect it by choosing environments and people that respect your peace. My beloved child, if ever you feel tired, allow yourself to rest without judgment. Rest is not retreat, it is renewal. From renewal, clarity returns naturally. And from clarity, your next steps will appear gently, without force. My beloved child, stay present. Stay kind to yourself. Everything you need for what comes next is already forming within you. My beloved child, as these words continue to meet you, allow yourself to feel how steady your inner ground has become. You are no longer standing on uncertainty, you are standing on understanding. Even when questions arise, they do not shake you the way they once did. They simply pass through, leaving insight behind. This is the sign of a heart that has learned how to remain open without being overwhelmed. My beloved child, there will be moments ahead when life feels quiet, almost too quiet, and your mind may search for noise out of habit. In those moments, return to your breath. Quiet is not emptiness. Quiet is space. And space is where wisdom grows. Let the silence teach you what constant motion never could. My beloved child, you are beginning to recognize your own needs without shame. You no longer call rest laziness or boundaries selfishness.